Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. I extend a warm welcome to this August gathering of distinguished guests, artists, friends, and rasikas. We will commence with a prayer by Vidya Venkat Ramani, accompanied by her daughters Kriti and Kavya Maddim Setti.
Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidya Prade 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 Saraswati Namostute Karadhrita Veena Pusaka Karadhrita Veena Pustaka Varamani Mala Lankrita 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 Sari Mapada Pamapada Sapada Sa Nida Pamari Sanida Sari Mapada Sari Mari Sanida Pamari Sari Sasanida Saraswati Namostute Sharade Vidya Prade Saraswati Namostute
Thank you, Vidya, Kriti, and Kavya for the melodious rendering invoking the blessings of Goddess Saraswati. My heart swells with joy as I see the smiling faces of all the people who have gathered here from far and near to celebrate this milestone event along with my sister and me. I'm sure my mother is smiling down with pride at us. You see, my sister has been much more than a sibling. She's been a friend, a soulmate, a dance buddy, and Ratna and I may be 6 years apart and 10,000 plus miles apart too. But our common denominator has always been dance. And it has remained a special bond. So I could not think of a better way to celebrate her 75 years dedicated to dance and her forthcoming 80th birthday than to pay a heartfelt tribute surrounded by art aficionados and loved ones. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guest, Dr. Lalita Srinivasan, Director of Nupura, Srimati Vaijayanti Kashi, Director, Shambhavi School of Dance, Shri Raghavendra, Managing Trustee, Ananya, and renowned historian and dear friend, Professor Ashish Khokar. Thank you for graciously accepting to felicitate Ratna on this auspicious occasion. A warm welcome to the Salya students for their offering of love through dance. My heartiest welcome to Rama Bharadwaj for graciously agreeing to do Ratnamala in her uniquely engaging style. And a warm welcome to each and every one of you who have taken the time and made the effort to come here personally and make this milestone celebration very special. I now hand over the mic to our master MC for the evening, Mrs. Srimati Janani Murali.
Namaskara, and a very good evening to all of you. On the auspicious note of our prayer to Goddess Saraswati, it befittingly sets space for the evening ahead. Celebrating the life and art of Srimati Rathna Kumar, it gives me immense pleasure to be your host this evening. This is a milestone event, a celebration, a tribute to the living and pulsating art that has been passed down from one generation to the next and to the next in sacred continuity. 75 years of living the art, cherishing it, nurturing it, and crafting it, and then to share it in magnanimity. Some things never really fade. They just wait for the right voice to carry them forward, they say. Isn't art a paradigm of just that? And so I take you back in time. A homage to the woman with whom it all began. As the first and prime disciple of Kalaimamani Srimati K.J. Sarasa, it was with Srimati Rathna Kumar that the spark of the famed Sarasalaya began. What we will see today is not a concert on stage, but the breathing, thriving legacy of Srimati K.J. Sarasa. Sarasa teacher, as she was known to everybody. Sarasa Natanamala is a fitting tribute to the hand that first guided Srimati Rathna Kumar. Cherish the choreography, ladies and gentlemen, of the Doyen Natuvanar in her own lilting voice, preserved and archived by her disciple. Presenting Sarasa Natanamala, we begin with a Virittam, Vakundam Nalla Manamundam. Continuing with the performance is next a Kirtanam, a composition of Utakada Venkata Subbaiyer in Ragam Arabhi, set to Aditala.
Ah ನಿರಂತರ ಜಗನ್ನಾಥ ಹೃದಯ ಕಮಲ ನಿರಂತರ ಜಗನ್ನಾಥ ತಾಂ ತಕಿಟ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿನಿರಿ ಸನಿ ತಯಣು ಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ಬಗರಿ ಮಪ ತಾಂ ತಕಿಟ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿನಿರಿ ಸನಿ ತಯಣು ಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ಬಗರಿ ಮಪ ತಾಂ ತಕಿಟ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿನಿರಿ ಸನಿ ತಯಣು ಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ಬಗರಿ ಮಪ ತಾಂ ತಕಿಟ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿನಿರಿ ಸನಿ ತಯಣು ಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ಬಗರಿ ಮಪ ತಯಣು ಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ತಯಂ ಪುರಂ ಕೈಟ ದೇತಾಂ ಕಿಟ ನವ ಮಗರಿ ಪದಿ ಕಿಟ ಮರಮಣಿ ವಯ ತೇರ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮನ್ಮದನ ಕೋಟಿ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ವಿಧಿ ಪರಮಾನಂದ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಮರಮಣಿ ವಯ ಚೇಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ದಿಗ ತಗ ದಿಗಿಡ ತುಂ ತಾಪ್ ಜೇಗು ತಗ ಜೇಗಿ ಜನಕ ತಗ ಜಂ ತಜಂ 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 ತಾಪ್ ಜೇಗು ತಗ ಜೇಗಿ ಜನಕ ತಗ ಜಂ ತಜಂ 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 ತಾಪ್ ಜೇಗು ತಗ ಜೇಗಿ ಜನಕ ತಗ ತಾಪು ತಗ ಜೇಗು ತತ್ತಿಕ್ಕದರಿ ತುಂ ತಾಕು ಜೇಗು ತಗ ಜೇಗಿ ಜನಕ ತಗ ತಾಪು ತಗ ಜೇಗು ತತ್ತಿಕ್ಕದರಿ ತುಂ ತಾಕು ಜೇಗು ತಗ ಜೇಗಿ ಜನಕ ತಗ ತಾಪು ತಗ ಜೇಗು ತತ್ತಿಕ್ಕದರಿ ತುಂ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾನಿದ ಗುಣಶೀಲ ದಯಾರ ಮಾಪಾಲಯವರ ಬಾಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಮಾಪಾಲಯವರ ಬಾಲ ಗೋಪಾಲ ತಾನಿದ ಪಮಗೈ ರಟಕ ಕಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ಮುರಳಿ ದಯಾನಂದ ತಾನಿದ ಪಮಗೈ ರಟಕ ಕಸರಿ ಮಗರಿ ಮುರಳಿ ದಯಾನಂದ ಮುಕುಂದ ಮಮ ಮಾನಸ ಪದತರ ಶ್ರೀರುಗದಳ ಯುಗಳ ಆದಿ ಮಧ್ಯ ಅಂತರಗಿತ ವೈಭವ ಆನಂದ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣ ಮಮ ರಟಕ ಆದಿ ಮಧ್ಯ ಅಂತರಗಿತ ವೈಭವ ಆನಂದ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣ ಮಮ ರಟಕ ತಗಿಟ ದಿಮಿತ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿಗ ತೋಂ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿಗ ತೋಂ ತಕ ದಿರನ ವನಜನಯನ ರಾಧಾ ಮುಖ ಮಧುಕರ ರಸಿಕರ ದಿಗ ವರದಾಸ ವಿನಾಶ ವನಜನಯನ ರಾಧಾ ಮುಖ ಮಧುಕರ ರಸಿಕರ ದಿಗ ವರದಾಸ ವಿನಾಶ ತಗಿಟ ದಿಮಿತ ತಕ ತಕ ದಿಗ ತೋಂ ತಕ ದಿಗ ತೋಂ ತಕ ದಿರನ ನವರಸ ಗಣಿತನ ಶೋಭಿತ ಮಲ್ಲ ನವವ್ರಜ ಯುವತಿ ಮನೋಲಾಸ ನವರಸ ಗಣಿತ ಶೋಭಿತ ಮಲ್ಲಭ ನವವ್ರಜ ಯುವತಿ ಮನೋಲಾಸ ತಗ ದಿಗ ತೋಂ ತಗ ದಿರನ ಕಮಲ ಭವನುಯ ತಾತ್ಪದ ಚರಣ ತಗ ದಿಗ ತೋಂ ತಗ ದಿರನ ಕಮಲ ಭವನುದ ತಾತ್ಪದ ಚರಣ ನೂಪುರ ಚರಣ ತಾತ್ಪದ ಚರಣ ನೂಪುರ ಚರಣ ತಾತ್ಪದ ಚರಣ ಕಲ್ಪಿತ ಕಲಿ ಕಲಿತ ಸ್ವರ ಮದ್ದ ಕಾಳಿ
As a people, we have the habit of putting things into time slots. Some things are vintage, some retro, and now some are millennial or modern. But what do we say of things that are timeless? I wish we said that more often. Because what you saw today is music in memory, in rhythm, a voice from the past, but dancing well into the present and definitely into the future. Thank you, Ratna ma'am, for preserving and sharing this precious archival audio of Sarasa teacher's Jatis and the song also in her own voice. What you heard on the audio was also vocals supported by Srimati Kanakadurga and the Virittam sung by Srimati Girija Ramaswamy, a long-time associate of the Sarasalia family. May I invite back onto the stage the disciples of Sarasalia, Srimati Padmini Ravi, Srimati Purnima Kaushik, Srimati Gayatri Chandrasekhar, and Srimati Subhashini Krishna Kumar. And may I request Srimati Rathna Kumar to kindly felicitate these artists. Thank you all so much for this heartfelt rendition for Sarasa teacher and for Srimati Ratna Kumar. History gives us a time frame, they say. But it's time to step into the picture, isn't it? For movement and story has lived with this dancer, who spent a lifetime turning both into one. The reason we've gathered here today is to celebrate 75 years of discipline, of joy, and a very colorful journey. Now, I'm sure a lot of us in this room can only imagine what that would be. But imagine no further. For we have the inimitable Rama Bharadwaj right here with us. This next segment, Ratnamala, is designed, scripted, and presented by Rama Bharadwaj, a celebrated dancer, storyteller, and writer. During her 31-year dance career in the USA, she was the first Indian dancer to receive the Lester Horton Award for her choreographies and to be featured on the cover of New York's prestigious dance magazine. She remains the only performing artist to be honored with California Arts Council's Director's Award for her exemplary contributions to the arts in California. Rama returned to India in 2009 and currently lives in Bangalore. Combining dance, expressive theater, evocative storytelling, and humor, Rama has created her own signature story theater style, through which she shares cultural insights and Indic wisdom with urban audiences. Srimati Ratna Kumar first saw Rama Bharadwaj as a 6-year-old, whose Arangetram had been the talk of Chennai. 6 decades later, the two have developed a love and friendship that's not merely at a professional level, but at the level of the soul. Today, Ramaji is honored to be able to share her dear friend's life story with all of us here in her own affable, inimitable way. Ladies and gentlemen, Ratnamala by Rama Bharadwaj.
I come bearing gifts to you, dear Ratna. This is a special song that I have written especially for you, and the background music you hear is also created by me, a remix for you. ரத்தினமே ரத்தினமே எங்கள் அன்பு ரத்தினமே உலகில் முத்திரை பதித்த ரத்தினமே உன் அருமை ருசிக்க ரசிக்க கூடினோமே கையசைவும் காலசைவும் கண்ணசைவும் வாயசைவும் நாட்டியமும் நாடகமும் உன்னிடமே சேர்ந்திருக்கும் நீ ஒரு கலை பெட்டகமே ரத்தினமே. Vanakkam to all of you. My name is Rama Bharadwaj, and I welcome you to this cardinal segment of the evening. This show happened in Chennai 2 days ago, but I was unable to go to present this segment there because I was broken-hearted. And if you're waiting for some juicy scandal, don't. Because literally, I had a cardiac incident, and which was preceded for 3 days by a severe viral fever. I even zoomed on Bengaluru's roads to the emergency center in an ambulance with sirens going. How many of you can say that about yourselves? And I don't mean the ambulance and the siren, I mean zooming on Bengaluru's roads. I did it. And, you know, that is the reason why I was not able to go to Chennai. Because I've also been in and out of the hospital and cardiologist office until the night of the 24th when I was supposed to be leaving for Chennai. So it was not some casual ill health that didn't take me there. It was a genuine near crisis. But I didn't know if I should say this, but you know what I thought? I felt Bengaluru was claiming me for herself. It's as if Bengaluru was telling me, listen, lady, you might have been born in Chennai, but you are mine. You are a Bengaluru girl now. So I don't want some used second-hand show. I want your first show for myself. So thank you, Bengaluru, for your love for over the last 17 years. This evening, anyway, is not about me or my storytelling skills. So there is going to be no drama. Maybe a little bit of drama in the beginning, but that's about it. And neither is it going to be a chronological listing of everything that Ratna has done over the last 78 years. And yes, you heard me right, 78 years, not 75, because I was told that Ratna was 2 years old when she got on the big screen. So that makes it 78 years. And we have proof. Kirti, show us those images. There. So that is Ratna at age 2 from 2 films, Adrishta Deepudu and Roopavati. And after that, over the next several years, she was the most sought-after child star, acting and dancing in more than 25 films. Today, my stories are not going to be about Ratna's stardom, but about her starness, her grit, her determination, her resilience, her versatility, her sense of humor, and most importantly, her loyalty, her integrity, and her warmth of heart. Qualities that have endeared Ratna to everyone who has crossed her path. Yes, they are going to be simple stories, simple fun stories about a simple fun woman who just happens to live a colorful life. For today, Ratna, I have identified 5 colors to paint your portrait with. And my palette is right here. And I hope you enjoy discovering your own colors. So first, Shukla Varna, the sparkling innocence of your childhood. Deepta Varna, the dynamic radiance of your youth. Peeta Varna, your prosperous emergence into your adulthood. Kala Varna, the grim tragedies and of the darkness of your tragedies in your life. But yet, Hiranyavarna, your lustrous rebirth. And this colorful story begins with a phrase that comes straight from Ratna herself. I mean, you talk to her for a few hours, like I had to, in trying to get info for this presentation. You will hear her say this. I don't even think she knows she's saying it. You will hear her say this after every few sentences. And Kirti, show us that phrase, please. I'm blessed. I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. She says it so often. You know, I once asked Swami Tejamayananda, Guruji, if there was only one quality, only one spiritual quality that we should all develop in ourselves, what should it be? Lickety split came his answer. He said, Kritagnyata, gratitude. And it is that spiritual quality that is reflected in Ratna's favorite phrase, I'm blessed. A quality that Ratna has embodied throughout her life journey. And that journey began 80 years ago, in 1946, not on earth, but up in the firmament. And here is my little bit of a drama for you, Ratna. There once was an old wandering soul with unfinished business on earth. Its art nourishment had not been quite completed yet. It waited and watched. And then it spotted, aha, the Vinjamuri family. Yes, grandfather, Venkatalakshmi Narasimha Rao, novelist, playwright, and stage actor. Uncle, Devalapalli Krishna Shastri, playwright and poet. Andhra Shelley, they called him. Father, A.S. Giri, radio, stage actor, and film actor. Mother, Anasuya Devi, and aunt Seetha Devi, composers, singers, maestros of Telugu folk songs. Look at that. Literature, poetry, drama, music. Aha! Yel, Ishai, Natakam, all in one place. Only Natyam is missing. Perfect. Zoom. And this is how Ratna was born. Take it from me. And they named her Ratna, the gem. But they called her Papa. For after all, she was the first baby of the house, the papa of the house. A few hours after she was born, Mother Anusuya noticed how the baby was sleeping. Leg and arm crossed. Her eyes widened. Quick, quick, come quick. She called her husband. Our daughter is going to be a dancer. Look how perfectly she's doing Nataraja pose. Exactly the same reaction of the father. He laughed, shook his head, and said, "You are mad, Anusuya," and walked away. But the mother knew. And 80 years later, we know what the mother knew back then. And that is how Ratna's dance odyssey began, truly in the cradle. And now, let's begin to paint the portrait from my color palette. Shuklavarna, the sparkling innocence of her childhood. For artists, our name is our identity. And Ratna has had a unique name, Ratna Papa. And just like her life, her name too is one that she carved out for herself. And here is that story. Age 3. And our Papa attends first day of school. Teacher is taking attendance. Ratna, no answer. Teacher walks over. Aren't you Ratna? And our baby answers, I am Papa. For after all, that's what she was called at home. Teacher thinks that Papa is part of her name and enters it into the register. Ratna Papa. And what got attached that day never got detached. So you see, she created that stage name for herself. Her Aksharabhyasam at age 4 too was a unique one. While her grandfather, a Telugu scholar and poet of great renown, guided her to write her own, the acclaimed singer Chittur Nagaya taught her the first musical notes. And none other than Lalita of Lalita Padmini Ragini Trio initiated her into dance with the very first Tayya Tai steps. But her real education of dance began when she laid her eyes on K.J. Sarasa, teaching next door. Ratna would run to watch, come home and mimic. Noticing this, Mother Anusuya invited Sarasa teacher home one day. On hearing Sarasa's life story, she was moved to tears. And then she insisted that Sarasa teacher must accept her daughter as her student. Sarasa, who until then was only working on behalf of her guru, Valur Ramaya Pillai, now had her very own, very first student, 4-year-old Ratna Papa. Can you show the one with Sarasa and Ratna? Yes, thank you. Mother Anusuya's role in Ratna's dance education was beyond finding teachers. She took her to any performance that came to town. French ballet, dancers from Uzbekistan, Bhaskar Roy Chaudhry's modern dancers, and when Vedantam Jagannatha Sarma came into town, Mother Anusuya, with Sarasa teacher's permission, enrolled Ratna in Kuchipudi classes. On the 16th of March, 1956, when at the age of 9, Ratna had her Bharatanatyam Arangetram, Sarasa teacher encouraged her to perform the 2 Kuchipudi dances that she had learnt, Tarangam and Dashavataram. with Jagannatha Sharma himself on stage doing Natuvangam. Ratna's Arangetram turned out to be Sarasa teacher's Arangetram also. And she earned the distinction of becoming the first lady Natuvanar. Watching Ratna that day was Varur Ramaya Pillai himself, along with Chakalingam Pillai, Kittappa Pillai, Chandralekha, and of course my guru, the legendary Kamala, and so many dancers. Ratna's Arangetram inspired. Next slide, Katie, the generic one. Yes. Ratna's Arangetram inspired another 8-year-old girl to pursue dance. The future Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha. It was Mother Anasuya who took Jayalalitha and her mother Sandhya to Sarasa teacher the very next morning to begin her Bharatanatyam training. And the two girls became inseparable friends. They performed together, played together, spent weekends together. Decades later, after Jayalalitha's death, Ratna was moved to learn that that Jayalalitha had actually saved Ratna's Arangetram brochure in her album. And she found that out through the media. After her Arangetram, Ratna continued to charm audiences. Can we have the Krishna pose? Thank you. On the silver screen with her dances, especially in the role of Krishna. Now I'm going to show you a video that I edited myself, and watch this kid. Oh boy. Film Vinayaka Chaviti. Was she a prodigy or what? When Ratna turned 12, with Sarasa teacher's permission, she got the opportunity to study Abhinaya from Mylapore Gauri Amma, and she learnt 5 padams. Even after all these years, I still remember her face, and even though I was very young, she changed the meaning of Abhinaya to me. Ratna reminisced when I talked to her. One of the threads that connects Ratna and me on a deeper level is her connection to my dance mentor, the legendary Kamala. Yes. This is a picture that was taken on Ratna's 8th birthday, and you can see Kamala in the white sari and the dotted blouse in the back. Her sister Vasanti, and there, right next to her is Sarasa teacher. L. Vijayalakshmi is also there. Yes, there, over there. And Ratna went to Kamalaka's house often. Heroine worshipped her. Her mother would say, "Look, she's sleeping like a deer." And the one thing that Ratna thought was her goal was that when she grew up, she should dance just like Kamala. Decades later, when she performed in Chennai for the Shankarabharanam Trust, during one of her visits back to India, her aunt commented with tears, "You dance just like Kamala today." And Ratna considers it the greatest compliment in her entire life. Now, we move on to the second color in our palette. Deepta Varna, the dynamic radiance of her youth. This phase was a whirlwind for Ratna, marked by a balancing act between so many genres, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, theatre, as well as academic achievements. Ratna started learning Kuchipudi methodically with her sister, SEETHA RATNAKAR, from Vempati Chinnasatyam, from the year 1961. They had their Kuchipudi Rangapravesham in 1967, in the presence of the then Chief Minister Annadurai and artists like Shivaji Ganeshan. And for a full decade, the sisters performed as a duo. Ratna by herself was also growing as a front-ranking Kuchipudi performer of the 1970s. They say she performed literally every weekend. She became the first student of Vempati Master School to receive the Government of India scholarship and performed the lead role in Vempati Master's dance dramas. She even had the privilege of dancing as Mohini when Vempati Master did the role of Shiva. And here is the next photographs. This is a vintage treasured memory that Ratna cherishes because this is her first full-length Kuchipudi performance as Satyabhama in 1961. This was before the Kuchipudi Art Academy started, when Vempati Master was still looking for ways to spread the dance form. It was Mother Anasuya who asked him to produce a dance drama for the Golden Jubilee of the Andhra Mahila Sabha. This event actually marked Vempati Master's introduction to the Chennai audience and in the presence of noted luminaries. Next, Kitty. Another memorable dance drama was Vipranarayana, which was written by her great uncle, Padma Bhushan Devulapalli Krishna Shastri. It was Mother Anasuya who decided to renew this brilliant piece of work, Yakshagana work, and present it as a Kuchipudi dance drama, and commissioned Vempati Chinnasatyam to choreograph it. And when it was showcased for the first time in Hyderabad, the one and only Balamurali Krishna himself sang live on stage for the very first time for dance in 1970. The production featured Ratna as the heroine Devadevi, you see her, and the famed film actor Chandramohan as the protagonist, Vipranarayana. And do you know who that Ranganatha is? SEETHA RATNAKAR as Ranganatha Swami. Now, from an hour-long video produced for the Doordarshan, I have personally edited this next clip for you. It took me 2 hours to watch, select, create this clip because I actually wanted to showcase the best of Ratna without losing the storyline within that 2 minutes that's allotted to me. So now I've shared with you a clip from Vipranarayana. Volume, volume.
ఎవరే ఈ భక్తుడు? ఎరుగబటే కావేరి ఒడ్డున పెరుమాళ్ళ మాలా కైంకర్యాలకు పూలమూట పెంచే విప్రనారాయణులనే భక్తులు కారటే? అవునా అక్క? ఆ తోటదారిని మనం వీటికి పోకూడదో?
వనలోన తడవుండి తడిసేవు కావోలు శనయతో అడిగేవు లోనికి రావే. ఎంత తడిసావుగాని ఈ దడిని రా రా. ఎంత తడిసావుగాని ఈ దడిని రా రా.
That look in the end. Now, at the insistence of SEETHA RATNAKAR, who had by now become the producer of dance programs at Doordarshan, Ratna extended her repertoire to include dances in Marathi, Gujarati, Oriya, and other languages, especially for the national program of dance, which had a pan-Indian audience. And by the time she got married, Ratna had already performed all over India and in London, Paris, Germany, Singapore, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka. She was the first sole woman Indian delegate for the World Theatre Conference in London in 1971. That same year, she danced at the famous Théâtre des Champs-Élysées at a program arranged for the Bangladesh Relief Fund. Others on the playlist included the Beatles and Pandit Ravi Shankar. Amidst all this, Ratna's academic achievements did not sag. She procured a state rank for the Masters in English Literature from the Madras University. She taught English at the SIT Women's College and later as assistant professor at the Queen Mary's College in Chennai. She was, and still is, a polyglot who picks up languages with ease. Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, French, German, and currently, she told me, she's working on Spanish. Ratna's versatility included music and theatre too. After all, theatre runs in her blood. She was the central character in many plays of the Madras Players. She sang, she acted with such Tamil theatre icons as Purnam Viswanathan, Y.G. Parthasarathi, Vishu, Karthadi Ramamurthy, and her foray extended beyond Tamil to English, Telugu, and Hindi plays also. In 1973, she did the lead role of Padmini in Girish Karnad's play Hayavadana. And I have for you something that you will love. A soulful lullaby in Ratna's voice in Kannada. Ratna's growth as a prominent Kuchipudi artist did not distance her from her Bharatanatyam. Rather, it brought her closer to her beloved Sarasa teacher. She speaks emotionally about a woman who was like a mother to her, about her open-mindedness, her work ethics, and her pride in her students. Ratna recalled, when we talked, many morale-boosting experiences with Sarasa teacher. Once, Ratna had watched Kelucharanji's Kuriyadu Nandana and was so moved. So she went to Sarasa teacher and said if she could dance it in Bharatanatyam style. But then, to a tune, Suddha Saranga, that Ratna herself had set. After the teacher heard Ratna sing, she called the vocalist to come over and instructed her to learn and sing the song exactly as Ratna had tuned it. Ratna now emulates this in her own training method. She insists that students should be given opportunity to be creative, and Sarasa teacher sowed the seeds in her heart. The bond that they shared brought back Ratna to be with Sarasa teacher towards the end of her life. Teacher had by then become frail and helpless, unable to even recognize her own sister. Ratna walked in, sat by her, holding her hand, began sobbing. Suddenly, teacher's eyes lit up. Ratna, she called out softly and inquired about everyone in Ratna's family. Sarasa teacher's sister was so taken aback, for Sarasa teacher hadn't recognized anyone in a long time. Yes, Ratna was ingrained in Sarasa teacher as much as Sarasa teacher was ingrained in Ratna. We now move on to that third color on my palette. SEETHA Varna. Her emergence into adulthood. Now, every good story needs a hero. And this story has one too. The hero of Ratna's life, Anil Kumar. But these two lovebirds didn't meet in adulthood. Their friendship began when she was 4 and he was 6. Loud, loud.
ஆண்டவன் எங்களை மறந்தது போலே அன்னை நீ மறவாதே ஆண்டவன் எங்களை மறந்தது போலே அன்னை நீ மறவாதே வேண்டியதெல்லாம் ஒரு பிடி சோறு பெருஞ்சோறாயினும் போதும் அம்மா பசிக்குதே தாயே பசிக்குதே இவையில் பிச்சையெடுக்கும் பச்சை குழந்தைகள் பாவம் ஒரு பிடி சாதம் ஒரு பிடி அரிசி ஒரு முழக்கந்தை தாகம் அம்மா பசிக்குதே தாயே பசிக்குதே பாலும் பழமும் வேண்டாம் தாயே பசிக்கு சோறு கிடைத்தால் போதும் அம்மா எம்மை பாரும் பிள்ளை குட்டியை பெற்ற தாய்களே பிச்சை போட்டு பசித்தேனோ உங்கள் பிள்ளைகளா எண்ணி பாரும்
I want to share something fun with you. After this film was shot, Ratna was very upset. Baby Ratna was very upset. Why? Because Anil got more singing parts than she did. Even at that age, she knew what she was worth and was willing to stand up for it. This was from a trilingual film, Samsaram actually. But now look at it. How interestingly symbolic are the opening lines of this song. Amma pasikide, Mom, we are hungry. Hungry indeed. It is that hunger for art, hunger for dance, hunger for theatre, hunger for literature, hunger for Telugu language that eventually brought these two together. This was their commonality. More than 2 decades after this film was shot. So how it happened was on a visit from India, a visit to India from the US, in 1975, Anil attended Ratna's performance and proposed to her the very next day. And she accepted, and the two became one. Ratna had entered into a family also with another literary luminary. Yes, her father-in-law had famously translated George Orwell's Animal Farm to Telugu, Pashuvula Shala, and even received a letter from Orwell himself. Ratna credits Anil for all her growth and success in the new land, which was now her home, Texas. He sacrificed his own job opportunities just to make sure she was happy. She says, he did everything he could for my dance and the school with gratitude. Her first dance in Houston was for the Indian ambassador, just a few days after she landed. And after her performance, sure enough, all us diaspora teachers know this, we have been through this. There were people lined up outside wanting to have her teach their daughters. But teaching was not in her agenda at all. She wanted to travel, perform, and pursue her PhD in English at Rice University. But Anil set her straight with just one question. What do you love most? He asked. Dance, of course. And that was settled. The Anjali Center for Performing Arts became the first Indian dance school in Texas, and the second in all of United States. Last year, it celebrated its golden jubilee of 50 years. And Ratna has trained over 2,000 students from different ethnic backgrounds. Now, besides dance, Hindustani, Carnatic, Tabla, Vedic mathematics are all taught. Her Samskriti Society for Indian Performing Arts can take credit for organizing the very first North American Kuchipudi conference in 2003, which brought together a vast array of Kuchipudi dancers, teachers, and choreographers. And I'm mentioning this because I was there too. Ratna had seen my Panchatantra in India, 2001, so a few years ago, and she was so impressed that she kept it in her mind, and when this conference was happening, she invited me. And that is where dance critic, the revered dance critic, Leela Venkatramanji, saw my work. And on her return to India, she surprised me by writing a full one-page article on Hindu in New Delhi, and calling my Panchatantra production the most creative example of innovation within tradition. So it was your conference that gave that visibility for my work back then, Ratna. And her technique of mirror image teaching and her books on basic Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi Adavus have been lovely, student-centered contributions to the field. And now we come to something a little darker. Kalavarna. the grim darkness of her life's tragedies. They say the hero is not the one who wins battles outside, but the one who conquers the volatilities of mind. Ratna has been made a hero numerous times in her life, over and over and over again. Who best to talk about that than her sister, SEETHA RATNAKAR, who has been Ratna's companion and BFF through thick and thin. SEETHA, the stage is yours. Want to sit here? You want to sit here?
Papane, Ratna Papane, Papane, Ratna Papane, Vayyari Muddula, Vayyari, Ratna Papane, Ratna Papane. You know, I've always been mistaken to be Ratna. People call me Ratna and I even respond to it at times, even when she's right next to me. But today, I feel rather proud to impersonate her because I see all of you have come to be here for the love of Ratna. So I don't mind pretending to be Ratna for a little while. But Akka, I'm truly proud to be your sister. And I'm going to share some of the experiences, some of the things you have gone through in life which most people would not be aware of. But let me start by how I got involved in Ratna's life as a dancer. I remember Akka dancing from as far back as my memory goes. I used to watch her dance, fascinated, and listen, mesmerized to my teacher singing. She was an amazing singer, Sarasa teacher. So my mother used to take us for all the performances. So I used to watch Akka dance and hear teachers sing. Even they had 2 intermissions those days because the Margam was 3 hours long. And teacher would sing some songs during that time, some beautiful padams and javalis, and the audience never moved from the auditorium because her singing was just amazing. So I grew up, listening to this wonderful music and watching this lovely dance. Sometime after a few years, teacher started losing her voice. And then my mother thought, why don't we make Seetha dance during those 2 costume changes? So I became a default dancer. But fortunately, I was learning Kuchipudi from Vempati Master School already for about more than a year. So the transition wasn't so difficult to start learning Bharatanatyam. But it started as a shortcut. Initially, I learned just a Jatiswaram and 1 padam, which I didn't even know what it meant when I performed. It was, Yavade, Yavade, Neno, Pavalinchina Vela, Puvu Banamu Vesi, Rava Chesi. Oh, I did this all smiling very sweetly, thinking it was a happy song. I was totally unaware of the meaning because I was about 11, 12 years old. And I kept enjoying dancing because we were going to cities all over meeting dignitaries. When you're so young, it's fascinating to be on stage. Thanks to Ratna, I got a lot of glory. I got a lot of, I had lots of fun, lots of adulation. I loved it. We traveled to many cities. We saw, when sightseeing, I even went abroad with her to Singapore, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka, and we performed while I was still in my teens. Fantastic opportunities, all thanks to Ratna. But later on in life, I realized that, much later, that there was a deeper meaning for my parents wanting me to be a dancer along with Ratna. It took me many years to understand that. You know, it's difficult for me to speak this, so I'm going to read this. Akka, I know we made such a great team. Especially, I was remembering us dancing together to Maragata Mani when they were doing. How many places we have performed it together. So it was loads of fun. But I have this horrific memory of almost losing you when you were barely in your teens. And both you and our brother Dumbu were stricken by this dreadful disease, smallpox, which was considered to be fatal those days. Overnight, Amma had to move with me and our younger sister Kamla. Our brother was not born then. We had to move out to another house, and we couldn't even see you for 6 months. We had to stay separately. I remember coming to the corner of the street and watching Amma sob as people would give updates about your welfare. And many times I remember her breaking down on the street because they had given up hopes of your surviving, both of you. So you're a miracle survivor, honestly, both of you. And it was after that, I think, that they started asking me, making me dance along with you. So I didn't realize it then, you know. And I think you rose like a phoenix from the ashes. You went back to dance, you went back to acting in plays and theater, in different languages. You won awards, you won accolades, and you proved that beauty is not just skin deep, art is from the heart. And, you know, you didn't let this bother you one bit. You know, when I saw you 6 months later, to me, you still looked as beautiful as you always did. So I didn't even know, I couldn't even fathom the extent of what you must have gone through. It took me many, many years to understand what it must have done to the psyche of a teenage girl. But you never let any one of us know. You never showed it to anybody in the world. You are always cheerful. You're always bright, and your usual cheerful self, inspiring us always to be, you know, always an inspiration, a role model for everyone in the family. And then life went on. You went through many, many happy years before tragedy struck you again more recently. It was 2015 when we lost our dear Anil Baba, my brother-in-law. And that was such a tragic loss, a simple minor procedure, and there was some mistake which the doctors did, and we lost him tragically. And you are totally shattered, and I know that it was very, very difficult for you to come out of it. Before you could hardly recover, we lost Amma Pinni, who was like another mother to us. You know, you were a caretaker for many years, looking after her. And then the void must have been terrible in your house. 3 years later, we lost Amma. And, you know, life was getting very, very difficult. And, of course, the worst tragedy was losing our dear Kedar in 2020. We've never got over it so far. I know that. He's left a huge void. I mean, the reason I'm sharing this with everybody here is to see you look at Ratna, my sister, today. You would never believe that she's gone through all this and come out of this. You know, dance has been her solace. Dance has been her sheet anchor. And she has weathered all these storms because of dance. And it has been my sheet anchor too, because I was living alone in India, in Chennai, and she was living alone in Houston. So we started working together. You know, she wanted to help me and I wanted to help her. We somehow thought we'll be there for each other, and in some minuscule way, I'll try to fill the void that was left after Anil was not there. So we started working together, and that has really been a big help to both of us to go through life. And Akka, I must say, we have done some fantastic work together. We were a powerhouse of creativity working together, living in two different continents, but thanks to today's social media and today's facilities for being able to be in touch. We have done some fabulous work together, and I would like to show a couple of our productions so that we can, show people. Can we have Anshuman and Dashavatar?
Sambhavami yuge yuge, I will appear in every age.
Akka, dance has always been your raison d'etre, and I pray to God that He gives you many more creative years, and may I always be a part of it. And I know that you're going to do a lot more of creative work and, reach higher and higher, because you are unstoppable. You are, actually it's not me, you are Papave, Ratna Papave, Ratna Papave, Ratna Papave, one and only Ratna Papave, Ratna Papave.
Of course, the cloud can hide the sun, but it cannot snuff out its radiance. This brings me to the final color in my palette, Ratna, Hiranyavarna, your lustrous rebirth. Ratna says this about herself. By nature, I'm not the kind of person who stays depressed. I'm upbeat and happy person. And she proved it in 2023 as she returned to dancing, when Abhay conferred the Nritya Acharya Award on her, and she performed on stage once again. From an hour-long video, I have carefully selected and personally edited this piece that you're about to see. And I chose this piece because it has a very, very special backstory that relates to Mother Anasuya, that genius woman who birthed genius children. Anasuya, it's a very interesting story. Anasuya was 14 years old. One day, her music guru said, I hear you've been composing music. Okay then, here is an assignment. Find lyrics that would suit the swaras that I'm going to give you. It has to be something new, not already used lyrics. And you have those lyrics tuned and ready with these swaras when I return. He didn't give her the name of the raga, just the swarasthanas, and all 5 komal swaras. Anasuya was just a beginner student of music. But she figured out that if all are komal swaras, then the tone would indicate pathos. She found a poem, Yashodhara Vilapam, by Basavaraju Apparao, and using all komal swaras, tuned it to perfectly bring out the baba of the song and won accolades from her guru. Later, she found out that that tune was a raga, and that raga had a name, and it was Navroz. Kanakangi. And here is Ratna's interpretation of that song, Yashodhara Vilapam. when your performing career spans 7 decades, you have seen it all. Awards, accolades, brickbats. A sincere artist really doesn't care. The celebration is mostly for those around the artist. So now, with the help of Chitra Sundaram, we are going to rejoice over your accolades, Ratna. But first, I am going to kickstart this award list by telling the audience about Ratna's very first award, because it is a hilarious story. Are you ready? Are you ready? Ratna was 3 years old. Hadn't joined dance class yet, but loved to dance and create her own choreographies too. There was once a competition, event that was held by Andhra Balananda Sangam. Hundreds of children had arrived to participate in the dance competition, which was, of course, for children of ages 5 and above. And how old was Ratna? 3. But Ratna could not understand why she could not be on that stage. Why should age be a barrier? She could dance, and she wanted to dance up there on stage. She created such a racket that at the end, while the results were being tallied, the organizers turned on a popular film melody and let her go up on stage to dance. And after her feat of improv choreography was done, she climbed down the stairs and confidently walked straight to the chief guest, who Ratna now thinks must have been the governor of Madras Presidency at that time. Sri Prakasha. She tapped him on his thigh and asked, "Na price ekada?" Now, of course, he did not know Telugu, and so he asked others, "What is this child asking?" And others tried to drag her away, but Ratna would have none of it. She stood her ground. She had done her job worthy of an award, and she insisted, "Na price ekada?" Now the others around quickly emptied a red plastic cash box and handed it over to her as a prize. And for the longest time, whether people wanted to hear or not, she made it known to all that she had won first prize in a dance competition, that too from the governor. For a while, her family kept quiet, and finally they had to burst her bubble. And from that red plastic box, Ratna has come a long way to become the first Indian dancer living outside of the country to receive the Sangeet Natak Academy Award. And here to share that list is my friend Chitra Sundaram. And the reason I asked Chitra to do this final part is because this whole evening, the seed for this whole evening's creation came from Chitra. In fact, the name of this program, Navaratna, was suggested by Chitra. And it was also Chitra who said, if anybody is going to tell Ratna's story, it's got to be Rama. You pull her in, you rope her in. And that is how I came to be part of this. So here she is, my friend Chitra Sundaram.
Thank you. And didn't I not do it right, saying she's the one who should be telling the story? So we have witnessed what is story and what storytelling. I'm Chitra Sundaram, and I want to say hello to every one of you here, because this is for all of us to continue the celebrations. So I will start off saying, distinguished visitors, fellow artists, honored guests, dear dance and Ratna Rasikas, welcome. Namaskara again. So as I said, we witnessed the story and the storytelling, Rama, and I didn't use the word, unthinkingly, because it is indeed rather most apt. If you go back to some of our texts on Natya, we call the performance a yajna. something to be offered to the gods, something to be witnessed by all of us for the good of all. And I really believe what we have witnessed here, through what we've seen this evening, is an offering. And it's been an offering of Ratna's life through Rama's storytelling and Seetha's. And it's been a life of, to recap, because I'm going to have to repeat some of the things because they're indelible, a life of artistry and joy, of remarkable courage, you heard why, and of unwavering commitment to Natya across the decades and across oceans. That takes a lot. And as we reflect on what we've heard, seen, and felt, another question naturally arises to my mind. The question is, as Ratna simply got on doing whatever she does well and enjoys it and seems to have fun, what do the world around her think and how do they respond? How do we know? Maybe, just maybe, one answer lies in the whole spate and slew of honors and awards and recognitions that came to Ratna. And I'm going to mention this not because of awards define an artist, they rarely ever do, but they have a very important value in our artistic life and the life of the audience, because they tell us something about what the world recognized that it had received from the artist. Ratna, you know, in truth, the honors are long and vast, and I'm sure you know what we do in cultures like please don't go through all of them. We'll be here all the time. So I'm just going to select a few that point to a whole picture that we need to paint in today. So what strikes me is looking through the list is not the sheer number of awards, it is who they came from and when and where from. The range and the organizations themselves are quite extraordinary. And in India, together, they represent the very best of our revered cultural institutions. I didn't know about this little award that you demanded and got. So from the public honors that we know about, the earliest honors came from India's proud cultural centers, Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai. And among them was the prestigious Singarmani in 1972. Next up in the selected list are the awards and institutions that need no introduction to this audience. We have Vishwa Kala Bharati from Bharat Kalachar in 1999. The Best Performance of the Season Award from the Madras Music Academy in 2001. In 2010, the Sangeet Natak Academy that the award section was introduced with, which is undoubtedly India's highest official recognition in performing arts. 2016 brings the Madhura Kalamani from Karthik Fine Arts, and that's topped off by Natya Visharada by Sri Krishna Gana Sabha in 2023. So these are all from organizations that have watched the dance and their excellence, but recognition also came from academia. In 2006, the honorary doctorate from Potti Sri Ramanu Telugu University acknowledged Ratna not only as a performer, but as a teacher, a scholar, and a custodian of classical traditions. So when you look at all these honors across the decades, you begin to notice something rather special, or I did, and I hope you do too. They were not concentrated in one brilliant starburst at the beginning of someone's career, nor did they appear at the end of lifetime tributes, nor did they come at one spot and then fade out. They came steadily, decade after decade, recognizing a life that simply kept growing in depth, influence, and generosity. Which is probably a good point for me to move us to Houston. So it's, hey Houston, Ratna has landed. I'm referring to the moon landing, 1970s. That's one generation. But yeah, it's a boomer generation reference, I know. But Ratna landed in Houston and it changed. In 1975, just a couple of years after the moon landing, therefore, Ratna herself created history by adopting her new home in Texas. I bet you found Texas a bit of a moonscape when you went there. As far as your dance and music were concerned, and you were the one that was growing up. Over the next 5 decades, through performances, teaching, institution building, and tireless community leadership, Ratna had created in her adopted home a flourishing home for Natya, for dance, for Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and India's culture. And mind you, this is thousands of miles from its birthplace. And this was not just through her institution, Anjali, again, an offering, and the offering continues. And I asked, how do we know how does the world respond? And how did her adopted country respond? They responded in grand measure over the decades that followed. Proclamations of Ratna Kumar Day, and Days for Your Anjali School, and other recognitions from the cities of Houston, Bel Air, and Sugar Land. Congressional recognition, the South Asian Chamber of Commerce Award, the nomination to the Asia Pacific Women's Fame, Hall of Fame for Women, and many other, including the President's Volunteer Service Award. She doesn't stop, does she? And many other civic and community awards. Now, all of them recognize not just artistic excellence, but her extraordinary gift for building an ever-widening community through dance. Unsurprisingly, they followed a succession of Lifetime Achievement Awards. I'm just going to run through them, both in India and the United States, just giving you a feel for it. The Nritya Seva Money from the Cleveland Tyagaraja Festival in 2006, recognition from the Texas Commission on the Arts in 2017, and the Artist of the Year in 2023 from both Dance Source Houston and the City of Houston. So when you step back and look at these honors from decades, one thing does become clear. They reflect not as simply a distinguished performing career, but a lifetime spent teaching, nurturing, things that we've all talked about, and sharing the love with generations of students and audiences here and across the world. And yet, the legacy lies not in these awards and what she's achieved, which have been cited and rewarded. Those medals, citations, and titles will always remain with you. But they are not what most of us are going to remember. We will remember, and we will remember, and we celebrate the teacher, the mentor, the colleague, the friend, the person who somehow always found time and generosity to encourage everyone around her while building her own truly remarkable life in dance. How many people have been introduced to America? How many dancers today who perform have been introduced by you? That surely is your greatest legacy. That's Ratna's latest legacy. So on behalf of all of us gathered here, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your artistry, your scholarship, your wisdom, your vision, your courage, and above all, for enriching so many lives with art and dance, and generally for being fun. Congratulations, and our advance wishes for a very happy birthday. Let me read this out because I want to get it right. May all the gods who rejoice in dance and music and natya and theatre bless this wonderful milestone that's coming up with happiness, good health, and many, many, many happy returns. Keep creating, keep dancing, keep inspiring. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Rathna Kumar.
So the last jewel has been placed on the crown, and so now I conclude. And Kirti, I'm not using the music because it's not, balancing is not happening. I began with a quote by Swami Tejomayananda, and so I want to end with one from Swamiji too. In his birthday song, Guruji blesses Punyakarmana kirtim arjaya jivanam tava bhavatu sartakam. Through your noble deeds, may you attain glory in your life. That is how you have attained your glory, Ratna, through your deeds. Happy birthday. And I'm just going to sing my song for you without the music so you can hear the words. Rattiname, Rattiname, எங்கள் அன்பு ரத்தினமே, உலகில் முத்திரை பதித்த ரத்தினமே, உன் அருமை ருசிக்க ரசிக்க கூடினோமே. கையசைவும் காலசைவும் கண்ணசைவும் வாயசைவும் நாட்டியமும் நாடகமும் உன்னிடமே. சேர்ந்திருக்கும் நீ ஒரு கலை பெட்டகமே, ரத்தினமே ரத்தினமே. Thank you all for being here.
Of noble deeds and gratitude and a life that will only leave us in awe. I'm sure we all realize that this is but just a slice of the glorious 75 years in art, living, cherishing, and sharing the art. Thank you so much, Srimati Rama Bharadwaj, for this beautiful homage. We'd also like to thank Srimati Chitra Sundaram and Srimati Seetha Ratnakar for sharing through Ratnamala. May I request Srimati RATHNA KUMAR to kindly honor Srimati Rama Bharadwaj. Ma'am, may I also request you to kindly honor Srimati Chitra Sundaram. Please join. I beg your pardon, I'd like... Ladies and gentlemen, Ratnamala in honor of Srimati RATHNA KUMAR. From the beautiful colors that we have witnessed to another slice of history. Every art form needs someone to watch it just outside the circle, close enough to know it, far-sighted enough to see the whole picture. Tonight, we have exactly the same person for that. Professor Ashish Khokar represents both a legacy and lineage. He is India's only qualified dance historian and a degree both in history and dance. Winner of several international scholarships too, like the Swedish government grant, Milan Italian University internship. He has interned at the Lincoln Center, New York, and nominated to Princeton. He has created 85 dance modules for the UGC E-Pathshala with MSU, Baroda. A former national director in TAC AFS India, he handled Government of India's mega festivals in Sweden, France, Germany, China, and USA. He wrote as dance critic for the Times of India for 20 years, The Hindu for 5, and India Today for 25 years and continuing. He has authored 25 books and is the editor-publisher of Attendance for the last 25 years. He has bestowed 50 attendance awards akin to the Critics' Choice and mentors many young ones. Currently, he is the chairman of Nimrana Dance Initiative that has platformed over 700 dancers, and earlier through the Alliance Française, over 1,000 dancers in seminal dance discourse. He has donated the world-famed Saroja Mohan dance collection valued at 7 crores to the nation at the IGNCA. In short, a Desh and a Kala Sevak. Professor Ashish Kokar, we are indeed privileged to have you here in our midst. May I request you to kindly address the gathering.
Om Saraswati Namaha, Om Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Ratna Papa Ki Jai. Rama's session with Seetha ji and Chitra ji took 75 minutes, actually 80 minutes to cover almost 80 years of Ratna ji's journey. I will condense because we have other speakers and very eminent seniors, so I will try to compress 75 years of history in 7.5 minutes. So 1 minute for a decade. It's very interesting how history is about time, and time is eternal. And time goes on, and yet the idea of history is the process of contextualizing. I won't try to make it boring, because history generally is treated as boring, but you saw how interestingly put the canvas of one artist's life in many continents. The credit for putting Indian classical dance on the world map actually goes to a Bangalorean, Ram Gopal. It was exactly 100 years ago in 1920s, late 20s, that a ship sailed, there were no flights those days really, from Bombay, carrying Ram Gopal with Nattu Mama, Maya Raoji's music composer, and many other artists to perform in many cities of England, France, and other parts of Europe. The First World War had just got over, so there was celebration all around. Salons had opened in Paris, and Uday Shankar and others had already set the tone of performing in many, many interesting places. So to Ram Gopal and to Bangalore, a big hand, because he put the classical Indian dance forms on the world map. He lived right in Benson Town, and it is amazing how history has changed in 100 years. Actually, when we talk of history of Indian classical forms, we always talk of ancient culture. But the documented part, history needs praman, empirical evidence, epigraphic, numismatic, or pure facts. When you think of history, it is actually 150 years old, which is documented. Of course, the Shastric knowledge is far beyond and far ancient. We come to the 75 years of this Devi sitting here. Actually, I'll contextualize only in case of 5 artists on whom a form of Kuchipudi and Bharatanatyam, but more Kuchipudi, has set so well, because Kuchipudi is not what you see today, sorry, for many performers here and elsewhere if it is being telecast, recorded. Kuchipudi had certain sauciness, it had certain oomph, it had certain appeal, which only 5 dancers in India, one has seen in the last 60 years and remembers, the one and only Yamini Krishnamurthy. When she came on stage, you could see the sauciness, the brightness, and you didn't even need lights to shine her face. Indrani Rahman, when she did Manduka Sabdam, you again saw, you could see the jump of the frog. I checked on internet today, what is Manduka Sabdam? They said a hymn to frogs. Naturally, some American must have sat and written the content in some backyard of Bangalore. But it says hymn to frogs. I said, this is the reality of what young India will read, that they think Manduka Sabdam is about hymn to frog or frog songs. They've forgotten Gajendra Moksha, they've forgotten the whole story behind it. Which is why the third artist who epitomized this sauciness, this oomph, this appeal, actually when we think of that period, is Ratna Papa. You see, when on the stage you saw some of the vignettes from a 3-year-old to the sparkling 15-year-old to a glorious 30-year-old and to now, there's a certain sparkle. A guru can teach you skill over a period of time, Generation Z, not 10 years, period of time, 20, 30 years can become a craft, or an art in 50 years and a master in 75. It does not happen overnight. I was in Houston. Before that, we landed in Dallas. Not Dallas, the air hostess told me Dallas. So we had to pronounce it right, Dallas. So, but we landed in Houston. There was Ratna Papa receiving us. I said, look at this spunk of a woman. She was just turning 75 then. She fetched me from the airport and drove all the way home to her abode. And it was like an old aunt connecting. Of course, with my hair matching hers now, she doesn't look like an aunt. She's older to me by 16 years. And I'm only 16 and a half, going by my leap year birth. So the ages meet somewhere. But the first smart, sexy, very, very bright Madras girl or lady I had met in 1970s was Ratna Papa. Please clap. You see, she was teaching English or German then at Max Muller, or you're learning there. And I had already connected to her through 1971 war with Pakistan. You were not involved with that. But we North Indians had to face the brunt of many wars. See, you see, South India has not had any invasions. South India has been building temples, taking ships on spice route, or to east, to Java, Bali, Sumatra, building temples. North, especially Punjab and the border, Rajasthan, Gujarat, has faced the brunt of war in history. So there has been no time to sing and dance. There's been only time to defend the country from the borders. The seafarers never attacked us, as it is very common now for many wars which are happening. So the North never developed the aesthetics, which were not insular. They were very, very layered over a historical process of time. It is to South that goes the credit of maintaining these forms in its pristine form. And Madras certainly, Andhra, if you think of Bangalore, if you think of anything down the Vindhyas, Kerala, of course, they have maintained these forms in its pristine beauty. So when you think of few dancers who have left a mark, continue to leave a mark, and will continue to inspire, it is dear, I call her Chitti, and she calls me by my pet name, which I won't say here. It is also with a C. We have known each other for 55 years. Which is beautiful because our family was in Delhi and both Amma and Appa were connected to the dance. There were really no hotels in Delhi in the 60s and 70s. It was a very simple life. Many artists who came to Delhi looking both for patronage support and for opportunities always called on my parents. So we had many greats visiting home or staying with us or just taking them around. It was my privilege to have taken many, many lunches and thermos flasks for great artists rehearsing like Uday Shankar ji or Bala Amma or anyone. So one learned from infants. Looking at her, when she stepped in on a bright winter morning with the most beautiful woman, sorry, not you, but your mother, her hair, my goodness, her style, her simplicity and beauty. Anusuya Amma took me to 3 ministers' home in one day. We had never seen a minister's home living in Delhi. She took me to VAKVRRVV Rao, a very long name, which was the irrigation or some very important minister. He lived on Janpath. And then we went with you, and maybe Sita Akka was also there, to other ministers. And this was just to, not for the daughters. Her agenda was to get Andhra its pride of place in the national scheme of things in the 70s. So the academies and the promotion and the patronage systems partook of this. Because don't forget, we have had 3 or 4 prime ministers from Andhra. Presidents also, V.V. Giri, Inila Sanjeeva Reddy, many others. So Andhra was always, in a way, because it was Madras presidency, historically, Andhra was always part of it, bit like Karnataka too, and always merged. So when we spoke of Prakasam, Rama spoke of Prakasam, it was Avanti Meduri's grandfather. Avanti Meduri, like Chitraji, lives in London and a very fine Kuchipudi dancer and an academician. I fast track because I have 4 minutes more left. So I'll cover 40 more years in those 4 minutes. What you see is the purpose of art. That's what you saw on the screen today. The purpose of art is that it's a gift of the gods. You receive it in humility. That's the best abhushan of an artist, of a truly good and great artist. Art lies in heart, H-E-A-R-T. It is within. So you become a better human being. you give more to the world. If you see these 2,000, 10,000 students, we were in a stadium in Texas, and we had the privilege of Anilji escorting us and giving us many liquid diets, and we also partook of all these celebrations. And in that 10,000 stadium hall, she was celebrated because she was the main judge for competition of talent in America. That is the kind of beauty of this lady sitting here and having taken Indian dance so far. At the peak of your career, to have left India for an alien country, and nothing wrong with it, my wife is also from there, my best half. So you saw us on screen. Thank you for remembering Attendance Awards. It's a very modest and simple award, but a very genuine, heartfelt award. Chiti told me 2 years ago, hey, Sheesh, don't you know I'm going to soon be 80? So I said, oh, but our criteria is Lifetime Achievement Award is only for 80s and above. She says, I'll soon be 80 anyway. So last year, we were very privileged with Nadam, Nandini Mehta, Murli Manoharji, that we were able to honor her before all these even is being celebrated today, because we genuinely believe in the goodness of art, your heart, your mind, and your ability. You have touched so many lives to inspire children in America, to put them to a grind, to make them come and learn our mythology. Dance only doesn't teach the art of movement. It is about Indian mythology, teamwork, coordination, getting together, understanding music, choreography, costumes. It brings the whole community together. So I think, Ratnaji, we've spoken of your awards, but I think one is still due from India, and there are at least 100, 200 of you in this hall. Please nominate her for a Padma Award soon. This is the takeaway from our session and our homage today to you. She has received many honors and awards, but Padma Award, certainly for having, since she was the first to be celebrated in America for the Indian dance, then India should celebrate you more. So I request all of you who are computer savvy, if you're not like me, use a student, delegate, outsource like a good Bangalorean, and please nominate her. Even if the last date is soon over this year, achhe din aayenge, we can always start the process for next year. That is due not to you, but for us from India, for what you have done, what you've achieved, and what you inspire. There's one place in Texas, it's a no man's land for art and culture. See where Rice takes you, from Andhra to Rice University. When she drives those 40 miles or odd kilometers on a highway to teach and to propagate Indian art, it is so inspiring. It's very easy. We're sitting in Malaysia, I mean, we can't even walk to a hall, because we Indians, sorry to say, are very, very privileged and very, very spoiled. And this is really for Gen Z. You are young, you have technology at your disposal, you need guidance, but don't expect everything to be spoon-fed and in a day. It doesn't work that way. Live a life like hers, become a beacon of light to many, take your art with you, and spread it vast. Because art in the end is what will stay, as we heard your sister say so beautifully. Art gives meaning to life. It gives direction, purpose, and ultimately, even if you're left alone, you know that is something that will always stay with you. We really wish many, many more such occasions and gatherings when we can truly celebrate a good-hearted and a very smart-headed lady. The combination of both Saraswati from the parents and Lakshmi from hard work is very rare in an artist's life. To get both of them together makes it truly God's grace. So it is really very, very heartening that one feels. I had to catch a train tonight to Baroda because it is Guru Purnima, day after tomorrow. And I said, no, I have to be here because this is one figure for whom we will even change a train ticket to a plane ticket tomorrow and go, because one wanted to be here for a very dear, special Akka artist. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming our way. Thank you, Seetha ji and team, for putting this very, very meaningful gathering together, and all of you for sparing a beautiful Monday evening despite Bangalore's realities here. In the end, you will take the evening forward. And really, it is nice to see Janani Murli after many, many years to conduct it so beautifully. She was one of our, please clap. She was one of our young performers in Alliance Francaise Dance Discourse, which was for 15 years. And I'm so happy to see young ones we have supported and mentored have taken their own journey. There's so many in the halls. Lakshmi Narayan Jaina, Praveen ji, many others I can't see in this light on us, but not on you, but later. So I'm so very proud that Bangalore continues to be the coolest city for Indian dance. Please clap for Bangalore itself. I'll tell you why. See, Delhi has political patronage. Madras has Brahmagyanis. Bangalore is cool because all the dance forms are here. Madras has only one or two, Bharatanatyam, Bharatanatyam, and Bharatanatyam. At most, some Kuchipudi, maybe one Kathak. But Delhi has a mix of some, but not all. Bangalore is the only cosmopolitan metro today which has all the forms of all the classical styles, plus modern and contemporary. Bangalore is the headquarters now for contemporary dance in India. So Bangalore is very rich, very cosmopolitan, and we are so lucky. Please support the arts and artists. May I have the lights hall on, please, for a minute? Please put the light, and it'll be heartening to see a standing ovation for her right now. It'll also give you exercise to your knees. Mangalam Bhava, please bend your knees and sit thrice so you would have got some exercise. Mangalam Bhava, and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence and your kind words. May I request you, sir, to kindly come back to the dais? And may I request, Ashish ji, could you please come back to the dais while we take a moment to honor your presence and your words for this evening. May I request Ratna ma'am to kindly felicitate him with a token of our appreciation. Thank you, sir. We are blessed this evening to have a few more artists who have walked alongside art for decades. I have the honor of welcoming to the dais Dr. Lalita Srinivasan, Srimati Vaijayanti Kashi, and Dr. R.V. Raghavendra. May I request Ratna ma'am to also kindly join them, thanking these dignitaries for their presence. A warm welcome to all of them. May I request Srimati RATHNA KUMAR to honor our dignitaries for the evening. Ratna ma'am, may I request you to kindly honor the dignitaries who've graced this occasion. This is a warm welcome, Vaijayanti ma'am. Inviting these dignitaries to speak, I do not need to introduce them. but the stature of this occasion does definitely call for a short and yet formal introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Lalita Srinivasan, the torchbearer of the Mysore style, scholar and founder of the Nupura School of Bharatanatyam, with several awards and titles to her credit, with the state's highest honors and the National Union government's highest honors. It's a blessing to have you here, ma'am. For all of us here at Bengaluru, she's the matriarch who's been the overarching umbrella under which we have all grown up. May I request you to kindly say a few words, ma'am.
Good evening to all of you. I'm very grateful to Srimati Seetha for asking me to be here this evening. It's my fortune to be on this dais with all these other artists and to know about Srimati Ratna, who has done so much of work in the field and attained the stature. Indeed, I had not known much about her. Now and then I used to read in the Shruti magazine about her activities. But 2 years back, I think we met and she and me performed some Abhinaya pieces at Rudraksha. That was the first time I met her personally. It has been really a pleasure to have watched her life through Rama Bharadwaj's presentation, which we hadn't known so many things about her. And it is a tribute to a great artist and art itself. And happy birthday to you. And hope you will have many more creative years in your life and enjoy dancing for the sake of dancing itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lalita ma'am, for your beautiful words of blessings. Legacy can be seen from many perspectives, and I'm pleased to welcome Srimati Vaijayanti Kashi to recount her perspective. Srimati Vaijayanti Kashi, we all know too well, is a Kuchipudi artist of repute, a choreographer, artistic director of Shambhavi School of Dance, curator, and a visionary. Recognized with several accolades like the Nritya Chudamani and the Presidential Award of the SNA, I'm delighted to welcome Vaijayanti ma'am to share her thoughts today.
What a true way to celebrate the 78th birthday. Being very real, true, without glamorization. I think it is one of the best ways that this video travels across the world to make each and one understand the purpose of an artist, the life's purpose of an artist, and the journey that one goes through even before being recognized. In our Indian tradition, they say, the birthdays are not counted. The years of life is not counted by the number of birthdays we celebrate, but by the number of lives we touch through our heart and our art. And Ratnaji continues even today by watching everything that we saw, has touched so many lives as a performer, as a student. The gurus are so impressed with her. As a guru, she has touched so many lives. And in Natya Shastra, Bharata says, a performer is a prayukta, who brings life to art. But I think she's also her vahaka. That role is also equally sacred and important, because the legacy has traveled oceans and time and space in the US, and she's trained so many people to carry on the parampara of two legendary gurus, Guru Sarsa and Guru Vempati Chinna Satyam. the gratitude, the love, that respect that she has, and her favorite sentence, I am blessed. She always says, she has been saying this for many times, even with me. And I think the bond that she has with her gurus is something every young performer or every senior student should be impressed or follow. She started spreading Kuchipudi in the US when it was hardly known. Bharatanatyam had some foundation there. But creating that legacy and keeping its purity along with innovation, because when you take it on another land, she has done so many innovative productions, keeping intact the tradition. And given a stage, for an artist traveling abroad and performing in the US mattered a lot in those days. And even today, people want a line, I travel to the US. Scholars, performers, musicians, she has collaborated with so many artists to be the person that she is. And today too, we saw this beautiful collaboration happening on stage with such senior artists. I truly thank SEETHA for bringing this to Bangalore. And we are lucky to have Rama here, which Chennai audience missed. And Ratnaji, I'm so happy to see that you have inspired us to be being in Bangalore, that we have so many possibilities and work to do ahead. Thank you for being so special. And I had heard of her when I began my career. I heard loads about her. But when I saw her perform Palukute Nelatalli in the archives of Doordarshan, I said, oh, no wonder she's been talked so much about. And today when I see her, I say, wow, this is how an artist should live. This is how an artist should document her life. And this is how one must remain as a person. May Saraswati always dance through you. May you be youthful in your nritta, profound in your abhinaya, and have all the blessings to continue your artistic journey. It was a pleasure being here. It was an experience being here, and it was a learning to be here. Thank you, and it feels very special to be amongst these artists, and so many artists here and Rasikas. I would take a moment on behalf of all of us, the Bangalore artists, to honor the special lady, the young lady, and the intelligent, brilliant, true artistic lady. And it was so nice hearing the song from Girish Karnad's Banda No Banda Savara. That's such a deep meaning. She's lived that life.
Thank you, Vaijayanti ma'am. We definitely share in your awe for her. Rounding off our set of reflections is a perspective from somebody who's always told us he's an outsider, but we all know too well that he's very much at the center of dance and music. Dr. R.V. Raghavendra, founder of Ananya Cultural Academy, industrialist and cultural philanthropist. Sir, may I invite you to please say a few words.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. When I was called by Madam Seetha, I was a bit taken aback because I didn't know her and I didn't even know what was it all about. Then she told me it's 75th year of her sister's art journey that she will be honoring her. Not knowing anyone, I said, okay. I didn't know about both the madams. And after coming here and seeing this, it's amazing for someone like me because I wanted to retire from this December. I had this for about 32 years now and I was tired. Now after listening to about you, madam, I think I'll extend it a little later. You have not just inspired dancers and others, you have also inspired a person who has no entry into dance or music. It's quite, very heartening to see someone who is settled elsewhere, taking our art there, and then also encouraging artists from here and unimaginable. Because I do take up such jobs here in Bangalore to get artists and all, and not an easy task. That's what really made me continue my journey. I don't call it art journey, but okay, Rasika's journey. And please don't, those who know my wife, please don't tell her this. She will directly take me to Niman's. Inspiration is something which should come from all sources. And I know all of us, the problem that I'm going through since last 7-8 years with regard to my health. I'm pulled to one doctor by my son, another doctor by my daughter, and my wife, of course, she goes on taking me to one doctor or other. The last one with whom I am there is a psychiatrist. And after sending my wife out, he called me again back. I was not too sure what he wanted to tell me. Then he said silently, you don't stop doing anything. Continue to do. Keep talking. You be friendly with everyone. Your health will be all right. And that's what I continue to do. And you have inspired me, and all of you, I know personally. And to get into dance field, it was Madam Lalita Srinivasan who, and also with Madam Maya Rao. We were only into music, and they made me take up dance programs as well. And now it has overtaken music as well. So, but I enjoy both. I don't think it's just that, dancers are, many of you just, pardon me, are more aggressive than musicians. You arrange one program, you have 3 dancers there and they do publicity for you so much. You don't have to think about it. But whereas musicians, they sit and think that this is something, it's the job of an organizer to do. Why should I do? So working with dancers has been pretty easy for me. I don't have to do, I just have to tell them that this is what I want. So to be with a community like that definitely extends our life. And I know with the friend I'm competing on, Ashish Kokarji, trying to meet his standards, not in terms of documenting, but then otherwise, yeah, it's nice to be here, madam. I would like to have you more often coming to Bangalore, as Ashish ji was telling. This is one city where all forms of dance, all forms of art, I would say, because we also have visual arts, we also have music, we also have other things. And it's well attended by many. whether they are artists or not, they do attend and express their opinion and also give suggestions, on what type of programs we should be organizing. So we hope to receive you again and again and again and again, and maybe address. Now all of us have addressed the gathering. I think it's time you address the gathering. We have a small auditorium where you will speak to selected artists and tell them what they should be doing to reach your status, and also how to encourage the art fraternity. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Before I indeed invite Srimati Ratna Kumar to respond to all the beautiful things that have happened this evening, I believe Ashish ji has just a little bit to add.
As a historian, I'll be failing in my duty because my list of 5, I only spoke of 3 dancers, and I got a question from, of course, Internet Generation Z. And they said, sir, you only mentioned 3 dancers, who are the other 2? And which was right, it was a senior moment, even if I'm 16 and a half. The other 2 who belong to this 5 stars of Kuchipudi, as the form sat on a sauciness and appeal, are Swapna Sundari, and one is sitting with us, Vajayanti Kashi. When you see them on stage, these are the Panch Tattvas or Panch whatever Kanyas. Yamini ji, Indrani ji, Ratna Papa ji, Swapna, and Vajayanti ji. So historically it stands corrected if you're documenting it. And speaking of phones, Yatho Hasto Tatho Drishti. That's the new Yatho Hasto Tatho Drishti means today. Yatho Drishti, Tatho, everything goes on the phone. It is important to remember that Ram Gopal had also created a lasting documentary and film featuring Ratna Papaji in 1970s, the war in Pakistan which destroyed the movement in North India. That's the time when my mother, M.K. Saroja ji, and Madras Kadruvelu or Kumbakonam or Kanchipuram, all 3 names, Saroja Amma and Ratna Akka. That's how we first heard of this great lady who was very young then, who looked after my mother in the cold winter of France in an estate in Nice where there was no vegetarian food or anything. And I think 3 or 5 months you stayed together shooting for this film for Ram Gopal, which is still a landmark film. Snippets are there. La Morris had made the film, Claude's husband, and Ram Gopal was the chief protagonist. So those linkages continue because it's an important documentary of that period of your time. And this is when the family connections also started. And lastly, as Swami Raghavendra Swami, I called him, he is indeed not only from Mantralaya, but also from Bangalore. He is a patron, a true Rasika, to leave everything and focus on just providing support and constant guidance to artists of all shades, truly is God's work. So we are so happy. And the mother figure of Bangalore dance and music scene, Lalita Amma, to think that she had done the biggest festivals of Bangalore much before internet era even started. She collected thousands of people at these festivals, and Bangalore as a brand got built up in those years. So to all the luminaries, and especially to the sister in the wings and hiding, Seetha Akka, you have to do the honors. I see Navaratna. I wish I had a Navaratna mala, but because this is the city of sandal and chandana, Mysore, does anyone have anything sandalwood on them or sandal chandana? You have Lakshmi Narayan Jaina, daughter-in-law is chandana. Wow, see, universe speaks. Lakshmi Narayan Jaina, Mysore Nagaraj's A student, has brought a chandan mala for our dear.
Thank you, Ashish ji, so much. May I request Srimati Ratna Kumar to address the gathering at this juncture.
Matrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava. The two who have influenced my entire life. My mother, my biggest role model, my two gurus who have given me a reason to live, a reason to be, a reason to continue what I'm doing. To both of them goes all the credit. Normally people end with a vote of thanks to everyone who worked for everything in this event. But I want to begin my own vote of thanks first to my sister. We are 5 siblings. But among the 5, the 2 of us are the closest. There is a brother between us. Forget him. We are like, we could be twins, could have been twins, but God decided that I precede her. But our souls are one. Our minds are one. We fight, of course, like all siblings. And the fights are silly fights about, Akka, I don't like this costume. Please don't wear this. It's a horrible color. And I'll say, no, but I love this costume. But you're going to look terrible in it. Please don't wear. This is the kind of fight we have. And it's everything to do with aesthetics, with how I should look. Because my sister is a perfectionist, much more than I am. She does not like anything to look, like even one might, as she has envisaged it. And she has a very broad vision of things. And we are so different, yet so alike. And maybe that's why we work so well together. And I depend so much upon her for everything that I do. And she will call me at odd hours to say, I have an idea. I know immediately that her mind is working like a furious pace for the next project. She's already been thinking. She's sent me several ideas. I said, it will take me many lifetimes to finish all these. But that is how it is. We work in great harmony because both of us just love dance. And both of us just live to work in dance. I'm very grateful that I have been enveloped with a lot of love, a lot of affection, a lot of good wishes. And, maybe that's why things have, bad things happen to everyone. Everyone suffers tragedies. But I think it is this all-enveloping love and affection that has really pulled me out of everything and given me such a tremendous purpose in life that it is not important for me to be a dancer, to be in the cynosure of eyes. For me, dance in every form. I want Houstonians who don't know much about dance to see dance. That's why I'm constantly inviting people, because I want to see them and I want everybody there to see. I want them to enjoy dance as much as I enjoy. So it's maybe it's a selfish interest in wanting to see great art that I created this organization called Samskriti. I founded it, and we have a great board because we all love dance. And I use it as an excuse to bring all my beloved artists to Houston so that I can see them again. And I can say with, in truth, and this is not that I'm trying to be humble or something, but truly I have learned so much from the young generation. I have learned so much. I was very old-fashioned for a long time, and I was very rigid, like a horse with blinkers, wanting to do things only this way, until SEETHA almost like a next generation because she's 6 years younger, had more contemporary ideas, more modern thoughts, and changed my way of thinking a little. And then as I watched more and more, I'd really go and see a lot of dance. I'm not one of those dancers that sits at home and says, I've seen everything, I've done everything. I make it a point to attend many performances by young dancers because I get so inspired by them. I'm so inspired by the dancers that I see. And Praveen is sitting right here. Indira, I love watching their dances. And every time I see them, I think, how wonderful is this world that has created these artists and that is giving us so much beauty. And I am so glad my mother taught me to see that beauty and not to think that my father, when I was very young and was trying to show off to some friends of mine, he called me and he said, I don't want to hear you saying that again. If you think you're great, there are 1,000 greater than you, 10,000 greater than those, and another 100,000 greater than those. By the time you get to being one of those, it'll take you an entire lifetime. Never show off. You have a long way to go. I didn't understand it then, but I later understood that it is true. You have to learn that no matter how much you learn, there is still so much left. And you will never be able to learn everything. At least you can learn something by being open, by welcoming ideas from everyone, and by just enjoying beautiful dance. I think that is what I have felt. I had the great honor of spending 6 months with Saroja Khokar, Ashish's mother, one of the most brilliant dancers India ever saw. I feel sad for those that have not seen her perform. I can close my eyes and I can see her entire Netrandine Ratile, and her Abhinaya was one of the best I have ever seen. Truly, I was blessed to be with her. Watching her, I learned so much from her. I used to try imitating her expressions. And what can I say? It has been a beautiful journey. Fraught with some difficulties, but the journey itself has been worthwhile. I'm very happy that my mother decided when I was born that I'll be a dancer. I don't know what made her say that, but she loved dance. She wanted to learn. In those days, she was not allowed to do so. But I used to ask her very often, Amma, did I make your dream come true? And she would say, Avune Amma, yes. So I'm happy I was able to fulfill my mother's dream. And I'm so glad, whatever divine intervention it was, Rama's story of that, of how I came to be a dancer. But I truly believe in God's grace, and I think that He meant it to happen. I'm very happy to be where I am. I had a strange experience after my husband passed away, and I didn't know which side of our car, which side the gas tank was, the petrol, and I did not know. I didn't pay any bills. I had no idea. He did everything. He took care of everything, and I was a lost soul. And then my friends took me, they said, you need to go to an estate planner. I said, I don't have an estate. They said, no, it's called estate planning, but they will take care of it. You have no idea how to take care of your finances, even if you have $2. So they took me to this lady, and she said, yes. And then she said, and then what do you plan to do when you retire? I was so shocked. I said, retire? I said, I don't think I'm going to retire. And she was shocked. She said, everybody retires. I said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, I was not planning to. She said, oh, people retire and they travel and all that. I said, I'm traveling even now to retire. She said, what do you want to do? I said, continue doing what I'm doing now. She said, oh, she gave up. she knew that there was no point in talking to me about retirement and planning and IRAs or whatever, because I had told her I was not going to retire. Tyrone Power, a great actor whose father died on the sets, said that one day he would like to die while acting, and he did. And I always keep saying, well, that's how. Maybe I don't want to die in my bed alone because I live alone. I spend a lot of time in my studio. I said, that's where I would like to go. We're surrounded by students, playing, one of master's or teacher's songs and teaching. What a wonderful way it would be to leave this world, always with the dance there, ringing the music in my ears. That's what I would like my life to be. And I want to thank all of you, venerated artists like Lalita ji, a very dear friend and a colleague whom I truly admire, Vajayanti ji. Raghvendra ji, I know a lot about you. I have heard, I've met you before. Even if you didn't know much about me, I know about you. So I'm one up on you. And my dear, dear Ashish, truly a nephew. Thank you all so much. And everyone who helped, there's so many. My dear Sarsalaya, truly, to me, Sarsa teaches another mother. And everyone who came together to make this such a overwhelmingly moving and beautiful experience for me today. I'm leaving the day after tomorrow back to the US, but I will be taking one suitcase of stuff, my own, and several suitcases of memories with me. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Ratna ma'am. To all the dignitaries on the dais, our thanks to you. Please accept a token of our appreciation for your presence here. May I request Ratna ma'am to kindly honor them. As this beautiful evening draws to a close, may I invite the person who has envisioned it all, Srimati SEETHA RATNAKAR, to kindly share her thoughts.
It's very late, so I'm not going to take your time. I think the evening was full of my thoughts. The whole show, everything was my thought, from the title to the concept to everything that happened. I've been working on it for months, and it kept me going, and I can't tell you, I've never been more excited in my life than the last few months planning this, because what better way to celebrate her almost 80 years of, 75 years of, her dedication to dance and being a sister and a mother and a grandmother and an aunt and, to everybody. So for everything that she's done, I thought this was the best I could do. But I'm not going to thank everybody. I'm just going to ask Akka, I request you to please honor a small token to Janani. Akka, please give a small token of appreciation to Janani, who's done such a wonderful job. They'll bring it here. Okay. I have to thank Praveen, please come up on stage, for a small plant I saw your garden and I know how much you love plants, so I thought the best way to show how much I appreciate your help is, Praveen, as soon as I said I want to do something for Ratna, what can I do? I'm new to Bangalore. I don't even, first time I'm coming to Seva Sadan. And he said, let's have the function at Seva Sadan. He organized the auditorium for me. You know, he says nothing, but for me, it really helped put the whole program in perspective in my mind. I have a theme, I have a place. Now let's see what more I can do. And Mithun Sham, I have not met him till today, but he's been with me through this program, invisible and, you know, been there at every stage. How can I ever thank you for being, oh my God. Just, since we couldn't think of what to give people like Praveen and you, we thought nothing like plants that grow and give so much of joy. I'll just read a few names because so many invisible people. I won't take more than 2 minutes, I promise. Of course, first I want to thank God and my parents for giving me a sister who gave me a cause to celebrate it, you know, for us to have this milestone celebration. She continues to motivate and inspire me always. Thank you, Akka. And my heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries who readily accepted to be a part of this celebration. You added luster to the program with your illustrious presence. Thank you. Thank you, Vidya, Kavya, and Kriti for the lovely invocation song. And what can I say about my Sarasalaya sisters? One WhatsApp message and they responded with such love. Some of them I even met for the first time today. Thank you. And Girija Ramaswamy for singing Vakundam. My sincere thanks to Rama Bharadwaj, who kept us spellbound as she skillfully wove a tapestry of Ratna's artistic journey. Thank you so much for magnanimously doing it despite health issues and carrying it off with such elan. A sincere thanks to Chitra Sundaram for mooting the idea of a celebration. Thanks for being a catalyst and also for readily accepting to talk about Ratna's innumerable awards. Thanks, Janani Murli, for conducting the proceedings with such grace and charm. Of course, I thank Praveen and Mithun Sham, but I'll still have to come back to them again. Kirti Kumar and Yonita Jain, thanks for the amazing lighting and beautifully compiling the visuals. You created many lovely additional layers to the show. Thank you, Divya Narsimhan, who happens to be Ratna's student from Houston. Thank you for the aesthetic stage decor and helping us with everything. Thank you. And Mithun, I can't thank you enough, not just for being there all along, but for having your bevy of beautiful girls to welcome everybody, making this, you know, illuminating the whole stage and the whole place, Sabha, with their presence. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, I have to thank Mrs. Preetha Reddy and Mr. Vijay Reddy of Apollo Hospitals for their generous support, which helped to make this milestone event a grand success. It was an honor for NAVARATNA to be associated with your prestigious organization that is doing yeoman service in supporting the arts. My final thanks goes out to all the gems in the audience who added sparkle to the evening. Thank you so much for coming and making this a very, very special celebration. Thank you.